Standard features on all of our wall tents include a zipper door, a sod cloth, ridgepole sleeves, the stove jack, ropes with metal tensioners, and steel stakes. Our stove jacks come in your choice, 4-inch, 5-inch, or 6-inch diameter opening. Keep in mind when you order your stove jack, you want to have a little bit of gap around your stove pipe and your stove jack, so if the wind is blowing, your stove jack is free to move up and down around your stove pipe without lifting it up off of the stove. This is a standard eave on all of our tents. We reinforce the corners with this reinforced patching, and we reinforce each grommet individually down the side. We supply 2 ropes for the corners and 1 for each grommet down the side of the tent. We like our number 4 grommeter set with our kick press. It does a superior job of making sure all of them are tight, and that's when a grommet performs the best for you, is when it is set tight and it's not allowed to spin. The reason we do not sew webbing or a rope in our eaves is we want this grommet to fail. Whenever we lose a grommet, something really bad has happened. A ATV got caught in the rope, a bear, a horse, a mule, and it tore the grommet out. If we have that webbing or rope sewn in there, instead of that grommet failing, it tears the whole side of the tent out. So our grommets are actually designed to tear out by design. Doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, you'll be glad you just lost 1 grommet instead of the whole side of your tent. An area of confusion on our tents, we provide ropes. They're loosely folded up inside the tent. When you purchase a tent, you'll have to unfold the tent to find them. The ropes will look like this. You'll tie one end, the loose end, to the grommet, and the other end has our tensioner on it. The way the tensioners work, if you grab the rope between the 2 holes and pull, that knot slides up against the hole, and it's just a plug, and you just keep pulling and you make this loop. This loop is what wraps around the stake at the bottom, and the more tension you have on the rope, the better the tensioner holds. So you wrap the loop around the stake and you just slide this tensioner up until it gets tight. Once it gets tight, you let go. The stakes that we provide come in a bag. There's 44 stakes in a bag. There's 2 different sizes of stakes. We have 10-inch stakes and 12-inch stakes. The 10s, the shorter ones, are designed to go through the grommets around the bottom of the tent, and the 12s are designed to go out for your ropes. You want to drive your stake straight up and down. A stake driven straight up and down in the ground has more holding power than one driven at an angle. It's counterintuitive, but it's a fact. It has more ground in the way if you drive it straight up and down. Some people don't like staking through the grommet at the bottom. You can simply turn a grommet into a becket, into a loop, by a short piece of rope with 2 knots on it. What you do is you fold this rope, feed it through the grommet, then you have a loop. So you can use that if you prefer a bigger stake at the bottom. You certainly can do that with our grommets. Stakes is probably the hardest thing to provide for all of our customers. There's just so many different terrains out there. I'd recommend for the 4 corners at least getting some longer rebar. If you happen to set up in a soft marshy area, you'd want a longer stake with more holding power. A standard feature on our tent is the ridgepole sleeves. What these are for is if you want to just pack the canvas into the wilderness and set the tent up with timbers, you run a log, a ridgepole, through the tent and support it with 2 cross beams. This drawstring on here is designed, you can seal this up and tie it if you don't want them exposed. A lot of people will leave it open for ventilation. We have this tent set up with our internal frame. Our internal frame comes with a 4-way angle at this location. That angle is designed to receive a short pole if you want to hang a lantern, or you can stick a longer ridge pole in it for a tarp, for a vestibule, or an awning. You should take care and make sure the pin on that 4-way angle is to the back of the tent. Up at the very top of the tent, there's a grommet that will go over this pin. We put that grommet on there because it keeps the tent tight end to end, keeps the canvas from wanting to crawl up over the top of the frame. So make sure the pin's to the back. You can turn this angle around the wrong way. You might be able to stretch your tent that 5 inches, but you don't want to. And if you are setting up a rain fly, you definitely will not be able to stretch the rain fly that far. So pin to the back. The ridge pole sleeve, if you have that pole in there, it can be sealed up around that as well. We also have a small version of these we call eave sleeves that would be located on each side at the corners. This is an advantage with the internal frame. You can run another column out in front of your tent. Having the frame all interconnected is absolutely the best way to accomplish an awning, a porch, a cooking area, whatever you want to call it out here in the front. So if you want to have an awning, the best way to do it is eave sleeves at the side and order an extra set of angles for the front. Standard feature on our wall tents is the stove jack. It comes in 4-inch, 5-inch, or 6-inch diameter opening. It's designed to run single wall pipe. You want to have a little bit of gap around the stove pipe and the stove jack. This is to allow the tent to move freely up and down around the pipe if the wind is blowing without lifting the pipe up off of the stove. Any moisture, rain, snow, whatever comes in, it just sizzles on the hot stove and dissipates. There's a flap on the outside that's designed to roll down and tie over the hole if you're not using the stove. Be sure to tie it well so it doesn't unroll when you are using the stove. Our tents come standard with a sod cloth. The sod cloth is a band of material 12 inches wide sewn in around the bottom of the tent. The idea behind the sod cloth is after you have your tent set up, it's turned to the inside where you can place sod or dirt on it. This seals the tent to the ground, keeps the wind and rain and snow from coming in around the bottom of the tent. Ours is designed to come to the inside where the heat is, so when it's time to go home, your tent is not frozen solid to the ground. If you're really expecting some adverse conditions, it's a good idea to bury the sod cloth. That will make a more secure tent for you. It's made out of a vinyl, so it does not rot as quickly as one made out of canvas, and it's easier to clean if you get it muddy and dirty. One of the options on our wall tent is the Colorado door. It's also known as a storm flap. The idea behind the Colorado door is to protect your zipper. It keeps the rain and snow and sleet from piling up on your zipper and potentially freezing. It also saves wear and tear on your zipper as you won't use the zipper every time because the flap just kind of covers the hole. It keeps dirt, debris, snow and ice from plugging up your zipper and causing damage to the slider. The way you work the Colorado door from the inside, you simply buckle the buckles before you zip the door shut. So you can use it from either side. In the event of a zipper failure, it's a secondary way of sealing the tent door. One of our most popular options on our wall tents. A screen door is another popular option on our wall tents. A screen door is a great way to get ventilation inside the tent and keep the bugs outside. If you're debating whether to get a screen door or not, it's a lot easier, which means cheaper, to add it before we sew the whole tent together. When we normally make a screen door, we sew the screen door in it when we're just working with these two panels. The screen door will unzip with a number 10 YKK zipper, just like our tents, and will tie up out of the way. When not in use, it'll be like it's not there. But it'll be great to have when the bugs are flying and you're wanting to get inside and away from them. The screen door works best if you have a second opening inside your tent. Having one opening inside your tent and dead air inside, if you get a little smoke from the wood stove or some smell in there you're trying to get out the tent, it's very hard to get that air moving. Having a second opening, the cross ventilation is worth every penny. So I would say if you're debating on options, get the window, get the screen door now, you'll be glad you did. One of the best things we've added to our camp in recent years are these hanging organizers. We make them out of Velcro that Velcros around the internal frame. They easily attach at any location you like. We have two sizes. The large one we call the kitchen, and the smaller one goes up above the cot. It's perfect for all your personal items, your flashlight, your wallet, your pistol, your keys. Having all that stuff readily available, easy to see with our see-through pocket design, ensures you can find it readily. I like to have one above every cot in our camp so everybody has a place for their stuff.